what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. This week is going to be about celebrating my favorite brand, MB&F. They released a new watch, part of their Legacy Machine line, and so what I thought I would do is take this week to really celebrate the brand of MB&F, but also the line of watches that they create that is really, for me, the watch that really made me fall in love with watchmaking. So today we're going to be going over the Legacy Machine X, or the LMX, which was released last week, and then I'll also have some other things to do with MB&F later in this week, so you can check out those as this week kind of progresses. So like I said, this is the LMX is one of the new Legacy machines that MB&F released last week. This is to celebrate 10 years of the Legacy machine. Back in October 2011, MB&F launched their first machine, which is the LM1, or the Legacy Machine number 1. And that is a watch that has really been on top of my mind as a watch that really got me into watchmaking, and it's a real grail for me to be able to wear and own one of those pieces to come. If you don't know a lot about MB&F, they really they are a watch brand. It's called Max Bruiser and Friends, and they create watches that are supposed to be horological pieces of art that aren't your typical round two hands, seconds hand kind of watch. They create things that are a little bit more crazy, if you want to describe it that way. And they have two lines of watches: the horological machines, which are those mechanical pieces of art that can be in all different shapes and sizes, and then the Legacy Machine, which is the line that we're going to be talking about today, is the line of watches where they are basically thinking, what if MB&F was around 100 years ago, what would they be created? And most of these pieces are round, which is not something that they typically do. So the LMX was released, or the LM10, if you wanna kind of translate the X, was to celebrate 10 years of this Legacy Machine line. So they have a video that they released for this watch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll that video. I can react throughout it, and then we can talk about some of the specifications and give you my thoughts about this watch. But as a reminder, they have a ton of other Legacy Machine pieces, and so keep that in mind when you're watching this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Cool, so obviously it's not a watch that you're going to be seeing every single day, but it's a really beautiful one. Just to kind of go over the watch itself. So basically the main things about this watch is the flying balance wheel. So Max Bruiser started the Legacy Machine line where he really was passionate about being able to see the mainspring, and that kind of came from a Philippe Dufour watch. And so I guess the main attraction is you've got these bridges similar to the LM1 that has this flying balance wheel right on the top of the watch. A little bit different to some of the other pieces is you can actually see some gears on the dials, which I'll go into a little bit deeper later on in this video, but that's a little bit different. Most of the time the dial is extremely clean. It's just the flat color, and you have that balance wheel. Another thing that stands out is you have these two dials. You have two time zones on this watch. One on the left side and one on the right side. These are both at 50-degree angles, and this allows you to have two independent time zones, so you can read time for two places on these. When you flip the watch over, obviously what you're going to be able to see is a really interesting finishing on this movement. This is not a finishing that has been applied, I don't think, to many MB&F movements, and I kind of like the darker finishing to it, which I think kind of shows the evolution of the brand and something that they're trying a little bit differently. What's cool is that a lot of these other independent watchmakers, you kind of do see some of this finishing. So I almost think it's kind of become a little bit more modern as opposed to the, that Kuznetsov finishing that's on the other ones. But a really cool finishing. And then the other thing is you see 3 mainsprings. The watch itself has a really unique power reserve indicator. So if you're looking at the watch, you have the two dials on the front, but on the back of the watch you actually have, or I guess the back, the far side of the dial, you actually have this really cool mechanism which tells you a 7-hour power reserve reading. The 3 mainsprings obviously increases the power reserve, so that's something a little bit more unique. And the way that the power reserve indicator actually works is that obviously as you wind the watch, the power reserve indicator goes up, and it actually it will show you the level on one side of this really interesting kind of dome, but then there's actually a crown where you can move, you can turn the you can rotate the power reserve indicator, and it actually tells you the day of the week and how many days of the week that you actually have, or what day of the week you have on those. So I thought that was a really cool. I mean, it's not something you've ever seen in a watch before, which I think is one of the reasons why I like MB&F. To go a little bit more into the specs of the watch, cases for this piece, there's currently 2 versions of them. There's a 18-karat red gold, and then there's a titanium case. The case itself is 44 millimeters, so it is going to be a little bit larger, but when you're wearing an MB&F piece, that is something that you're going to have to get used to. Like I said, in-house movement with a really 3-dimensional shape to the movement itself. 3 mainsprings, mainspring barrels, so you have the 7-day power reserve there. The complications you're going to get hours, minutes for 2 time zones that are completely independent, and then you have that hemispherical rotating power reserve indicator on the back, which allows you to see the day of the weekday or the 7-day indication. So that's kind of some of the specs about it. One of the things that I think is also really cool about this piece is the crowns. So you have 2 crowns on this watch, right? The one of them, if you look at the signature, it's the typical battle axe rotor that's signed on that crown. But if you look at the other one, it actually almost looks like a globe, which I think that's obviously how you move the power reserve indicator. One of the things I also really like, and I mentioned it previously, was the gears that are on this watch. So there's 3 gears. There's one kind of above the left hand dial, one above the right hand dial, and then one right in between the middle ones. And what's really cool is this actually these are large parts of the gear trains that actually you can see how they turn. So the one between the two dials is actually shows you the elapsing of the seconds. It's basically the seconds wheel, and then the other 2 have to do with when you're setting the time. Those are kind of set in motion. So I think I really like how they've kind of brought that to the top of the dial. Obviously the balance wheel is going to be a huge attraction, but when you are able to see some of the other mechanics moving when you're kind of functioning with this watch, I think that almost like gives you another level of like of experience with the piece. Obviously the inspiration of this watch kind of comes from the entire Legacy machine line. It has the 2 time zones, which comes from the LM1, the flying balance wheel, which is kind of from throughout this entire kind of experience. The Thunderdome is where we kind of get that tilted dial. You also kind of see some of those design elements that coming out from like the LM Perpetual, where you can see a lot more of the mechanics. So I think it's really just, the LMX is really just a combination of all of the different pieces that they've created throughout their time. Like I said, there's a titanium cased watch which comes with a green dial. There's only 33 pieces that are being produced for that one, and then there's the red gold and black dial version of this, and that comes in 18 pieces. My initial thoughts on this is, I mean, I don't know if I can say more good things about this brand than I already have. I absolutely love it. I thought the launch of this was really great. MB&F actually did a live stream on YouTube where they kind of unveiled the watch, showed it to everyone, and was able to kind of walk through it. I like how the mechanical pieces of this watch is really coming to life a little bit more. You know, you can even see the regulator between the two dials on this watch. And it has like basically all the design elements that I really love, which is like flying balance wheel, beautiful domed crystal, and really is just an absolute work of art. I want to say a huge congratulations to MB&F on the whole legacy machine line, but this LMX is really, really beautiful. Congratulations. I hope I'm lucky enough to see this watch in person, because it really is a phenomenal piece. It's really interesting to see the evolution of MB&F as well, and you can see the different iterations that they've come up with in this kind of journey of the legacy machine. We will talk a little bit more about the legacy machine this week, so stay tuned for that. I won't give up too much information on that, but I'm really excited about that. Just going back to the launch, I thought that was really cool because they kind of walked through some of the design elements that they picked and how they kind of went through it. I thought it was fairly interesting. I think Max said this was about 3 years in production, so it's a lot of time and energy going into this piece, but a really phenomenal execution for their 10-year anniversary, which is incredible to think. So again, congratulations to MB&F. It's a phenomenal piece, and I hope you enjoyed seeing our coverage of this. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We create videos about watches, not just MB&F, but all kinds. So be sure to go to our channel, check out some of our other videos, and subscribe to the channel if you like watches. And also, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button for us, for the YouTube algorithm, so these videos can get to more watch enthusiasts who may be interested in them. That'd be really helpful for us. And let me know in the comment section below what you think about the LMX. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.